Let's break this drama down because this influencer asking for free cake has gone from IG and it's gone to the Daily Mail, it's gone to the Sun, it's gone to the Metro. Let's break this down. First of all, let's start off with the baker who is involved in all this. Reshmi Bennett, who is the owner of Angus de Sook. I never know if I'm saying that name right, but we're saying it like that. She's the baker involved. She owns Angus de Sook, like I said, which is a luxury cake maker, cake baker business. She also owns Hero Bakes, which does luxury cake in a can. And she's been doing this cake baking for a long time. She's highly, highly experienced. Let's talk about the influencer stroke celebrity who is involved in this drama. Binky Felsted. Now, I know about her because I know about Made in Chelsea. Made in Chelsea was a reality show that kind of featured people who lived and grew up in the Chelsea area. Think of like Towie, but maybe kind of a posher version. I never watched any episodes of Made from Chelsea, but it was such a sort of high profile program that like many other people, I knew about it. Binky is not her real name. I think it's like a nickname. Her actual first name is Alexandra, but she goes by Binky, like a nickname. And I didn't really know what she was doing now, but I looked it up and she has like a clothing line, cosmetics line. Obviously, she does a lot of sort of brand deals as well with major brands. So that is Binky. Reshmi is known for calling out influencers, celebrities who approach independent businesses and ask for free cake. She is known for this. She's done this before. She calls them out. She doesn't care. If you're a PR person, you should do your research before you approach somebody. Like, so you see somebody's done the cake. Oh, I wonder if they'll be up for collaboration. You should do your research on that business. Clearly, you don't. Clearly, you don't. So, if the PR people for Binky had done their research, they would have known that Reshmi is not the person to be approaching for free cake. Anyway, they didn't do their research, so they approached her. And what she does on her IG, Reshmi, is that if any influencer or celebrity approaches them, she's like, okay. She documents the whole thing because most of the time they're gonna come and ask for free in exchange for exposure. She's gonna be like, no, here's my budget. And then do they change their mind and say, okay, we're gonna pay? Majority of the time they don't. So here are the screenshots. So here we have here an influencer asks for free cake. So it was for 3 years birthday. So we didn't know it was Binky at the time. She, as you can see, she deleted all the details of who the actual celebrity was. But we now know it was for Binky's 3-year-old son birthday party. Yellow Train. We will also be interested in collaborating. As soon as you see that word collaborating, you know they don't want to pay. It's for the son of whoever who has 1.4 million Instagram followers. So their thing with a lot of celebrities is that I have, excuse me, I have all these followers, right? So I want you to do this cake for free, and I'll do some kind of post to all my followers, and you'll get all these orders coming in. That never happens. It never happens. Um, so then, obviously, Reshmi replies back and said, this is something that we can do. Notes is a bit short, but what's your budget, delivery, postcode, any images, etc. She knows. She knows that they're going to come back most probably and say no, right? And then didn't hear anything, so she just kind of sort of nudging, blah blah blah. Um, and then um, hang on, let me see where am I. Yeah, so she gently nudged because there was no response, and then they came back and be like, "Would you be interested in collaborating the cake?" As in, the cake would be gifted in exchange for a story. A story lasts for 24 hours on Instagram. So you want this baker to make this amazing cake in exchange for a story. A story. And we know at the moment with Instagram what the reach is like, whether you're a big creator or a small creator, a story, not even a reel. At least a reel would be there on the grid. A story, a whole story, you taking the mick. Of course, Reshmi knew this is what was going to happen, so she comes back with, I was reading you'd have a budget, blah blah blah, take my grifters, and then she mentions other celebrities who have tried to do the same thing. Um, Reshmi has celebrities who order from her and pay. I don't understand this whole thing about, oh, I've got all these followers means nothing. It means nothing. They use it as like a currency. It means nothing to me. It means nothing. It may mean something to a lot of brands because people are like, oh, you've got all these followers, which means that we want you to do all these brand campaigns. As I said, the reach for Instagram at the moment is awful. It's really bad. So, as much as you have 1.4 million followers, how many of those followers are actually going to see your story and your posts? Like, not that many. So she sent that response back, but then they came up with this response saying about, they understand about small businesses, blah blah blah. It was very sort of chat GPT. And then they said they're going to go back to Binky, as we know who it is now, and discuss it. But then obviously nothing happened. There was, they didn't come back to her and to be like, oh, actually, we want to pay for the cake. So then Rush was like, I'm going to go and tell everybody who it was and about who, it was somebody who wanted a free cake. And obviously it all went off. And the Daily Mail picked it up because they normally do the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail picked it up, and then the Evening Standard, which I think is part of the same group as the Daily Mail, then the Metro, then the Sun picked it up. And then what's quite ironic is that with all this going on, Reshmi's actually gained loads of followers, which tends to happen because she speaks out. And there's some people, what I found interesting was that there were some people who were saying, oh, you should have probably done it because this person has 1.4 million followers and this is what people do all the time. That's your point of view. My point of view is pay for the cake. I hate this thing with people who are more than capable to buy a cake. They always go to small independent businesses because they're gonna think, oh my God, they're gonna be in awe of this person asking them to make a cake. So they ain't gonna want to ask for any money. But what came out of this, there was another cake maker who said the same thing happened to me. So they were approached, I'm not sure how long ago, by Binky to make a cake. And initially they were like, well, this is, willing to do it at sort of a discount. And they're like, well, I have all these followers. I normally charge this amount of money and that. And they were like, okay, so don't you want to even pay for the delivery of the cake? And they were kind of like, no. She says now at the time she was a small independent business who had just started and she felt very flattered by it. So she went to Binky's house, took the cake there, set up the cake. And what was promised is that it would be featured, I think, in Hello or something. And probably also on her social media. Nothing happened. The baker chased up, and Binky and the team were like, "Oh, sorry, there was an oversight. We'll get to it." Nothing. So this baker made this cake, kind of knowing that it was really only going to be for exposure, and she didn't even get the exposure. And this is the thing: influencers and that will say, "Oh, I've got all these followers, etc. I'll put it on my stories. I'll do a reel." Small businesses send stuff to these influencers, and even then they still don't even do what they say they were going to do. They don't do their reel or anything. The small business follows up, nothing. This is what I say to small businesses: do not do anything for exposure. Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't do it, especially when you're just starting out, because you're really looking at your budgets. um I say don't do it. I don't think you should do it. If you want to do it, that's fine. But just bear in mind, there are some influencers who say they're going to do, put a story or a reel and they don't end up doing it and then you don't hear from them again. That is a risk you take. Unfortunately, there are some people like that. In my experience, I have been sent things, I have been given things. I always follow up, I always do the story. Um, I always do that. So it's just you really got to balance it. But I think my thing is the fact that celebrities do this a lot with small businesses because, like I said, they think the business is going to be in absolute awe and be like, oh my gosh. And then they will send it for free. But then they don't even do what they say they were going to do. They don't do the real or whatever they were supposed to do. It's absolutely terrible. And in the case of this story, it was in this story, the offer was an Instagram story. An Instagram story. I'm going back to the other baker who also made a cake for Binky. Um, Actually, no, not that. There was another baker who made a cake for somebody else, another celebrity. I don't know who it was. And the celebrity actually followed through and put it on their social media. And the baker said they got a few more followers, but they got no orders from it. It's very unlikely you will get any orders from it. So yes, you'll get some followers. People are like, oh my god, that's a nice cake. They got no orders from it. So you just really have to balance it because I feel now social media, as much as a lot of brands still put a lot of emphasis on followers, it's not just about followers, especially with a business. You want to get orders in. You want to get orders in. So just bear that in mind. But that's the whole drama. I thought I'd had to do a story about it because when I saw it was Reshmi and I started to see it in the press, I was like, oh gosh, here we go again. Don't play with Reshmi, I'm telling you. PR people, do your research, and celebrities, influencers, pay for your cake. I don't care. Pay for your cake. Exposure doesn't pay bills. Let me know what you think about this whole story. Until next time, Kate lovers.